the father, the friend. Know ye not that ye must be born again? What does it mean to be in the world but not of it? It means you want the cause.
The world is like a ride at an amusement park, and when you choose to go on it, you think it's real, because that's how powerful our minds are. And the ride goes up and down and round and round. It has thrills and chills, and it's very brightly colored, and it's very loud, and it's fun for a while. Some people have been on the ride for a long time, and they begin to question, is this real, or is this just a ride? And other people have remembered, and they come back to us, and they say, hey, don't worry, don't be afraid, ever, because this is just a ride.
He wasn't concerned with what the audience thought, who would boo him. He wasn't concerned with how it would affect his business. He just said what he wanted to say.
Bush, trying to buy votes towards the end of the election, goes around, selling weapons to everyone, getting that military-industrial complex vote happening. And then goes around making speeches why he should be commander-in-chief, because we still live in a dangerous world. Thanks to you, you funker!
To protect, to serve, and to commit perjury whenever it supports the state's case. Swear it on the Bible is just one more way of controlling people and keeping them in line.
People often ask me where I stand politically. It's not that I disagree with Bush's economic policy or his foreign policy. It's that I believe he was a child of Satan here to destroy the planet Earth.
The point I'm making is about the idea of freedom of expression, and I believe that there's this agenda in mainstream media, and I think it's fairly easy to back this up, to keep people stupid, docile, and apathetic.
We have figured it out. Go back to bed, America. Your government has figured out how it all transpired. We're living in the land of freedom. Here you go, America. You are free to do as we tell you.
They own everything. They own all the important land. They own and control the corporations. They've long since bought and paid for the Senate, the Congress, the state houses, the city halls. They got the judges in their back pocket. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them.
His conception of reality is a dance of electronic images fired into his forebrain, a gossamer construction of his masters designed so that he will not under any circumstances perceive the actual or the real. And then the media unleash their story for you. They have their little story and the weeping parents, and we had no idea that our son was such a lunatic. And anyone who's really studied mind control understands that mind control is ubiquitous. It's almost the question of who is not mind controlled, as opposed to, who is mind controlled. It's just a difference in degrees. One of the people, I think, one of few who understood that the real war is a war on consciousness. It's very important to always remember that it may have so many other permutations.
Because we are wounded, we have put up psychic defenses against reality and have become so cut off from direct participation in the multi-dimensional wilderness in which we are embedded that all we can do is to navigate our way cautiously through a humanly designed day-to-day substitute world of symbols, a world of dollars, minutes, numbers, images and words that are constantly being manipulated to wring the most possible profit from every conceivable circumstance.
Getting people to do what was wanted. But in recent times, in the 20th century, there are new technologies that provide the expertise to control people totally without their knowledge. Means of electronic entrainment, brain
weaponry, psychic weaponry, radiotronic weaponry that's being used, ELF waves, all sorts of different technologies that are patented. People can go and find out about it, research it, discover it. But the most important thing is always to remember that there is this kind of war going on, even though you may not realize it, and also to realize that There's also the cover-up campaign against mind control.
The drugs took away those complex and difficult feelings and made the individuals happier. But they also made them simpler beings, more easy to predict and manage, and closer to the machine-like creatures at the heart of the economic models.
We are the only ones who can think about ourselves and think about thought. Now, this capacity is obviously called independence. Have you ever thought about the meaning of that word? But the opposite of that is called collectivism. But this unique capacity of independence is threatening to the establishment, who does not wish man to become aware of the two forms of manipulation which contravene his independent thought and action. Alan once said, the most strongly enforced of all known taboos is the taboo against knowing who and what you really are behind the mask of your apparently separate, independent, and isolated ego.
Science is the history of the suppression of great inventions. A few classic stories. Nikola Tesla
is regarded as the founding father of free energy. His most notorious project involved the transmission of wireless electricity into the atmosphere, which allowed for unlimited power to be freely accessed by everyone. When his financial backer, J.P. Morgan, realized that this power system could not be metered, all funding was immediately withdrawn. Tesla's electrical broadcast towers were dismantled. Tesla's career was destroyed.
Your propulsion theory is a mistake. This statement was made by inventor Victor Schauberger, one of the essential points of the issue. Nowadays, we would call this the search for an alternative form of energy. Victor Schauberger's experimental flying prototypes worked on the principle of levitation. Esoteric knowledge played an ever-increasing role in the search for new sources of energy and motive power. Research as there was particularly important in the development of electrogravitational and tachometric propulsion. This seemed to be at the very core of the alternative technology. The energy source of the future, cheap, clean, and independent of raw materials.
It's a major breakthrough that will no doubt make motorists happy. And as Ralph Robinson explains, the Pentagon is also showing lots of interest in this project.
U.S. inventor Stan Myers released his water-powered car engine in 1988.
The Pentagon flew a lieutenant colonel in last week to look at Myers' invention. There's talk of possibly using it in the Star Wars defense program and to run Army things.
Myers found it virtually impossible to secure financial backing after certain Pentagon officials paid him.
He has been running his car on water since 1986 with the government's permission, provided that he keeps his mouth shut. And with regular intervals, using his own words, they keep warning him to keep his mouth shut.
Machine that could power your house for free. Well, that's exactly what two Australian inventors claim they've developed. Using magnets and a battery, their new generator has been described as revolutionary, and foreign investors are lining up for a piece of the action.
What's it capable of? Well, it'll power a house. The machine will provide sufficient electricity to run a house and have power to burn.
So, John, basically you're saying this machine can produce 5 times as much power as it consumes?
Yes, it does. This one, exactly as we see it, it does. And in fact, it can produce more than that.
This prototype will run for years without stopping, generating 24 kilowatts of power a day.
You don't get more revolutionary, I think. I mean, we're talking about something that has the capacity to change the way that the world produces its electric power. The technology speaks for itself.
I mean, a householder could buy one of these machines and install it in his garage and power his house forever without buying another kilowatt from a retailer. I mean, that's how serious it is.